one like you. Ooh, thoughts of us are taking over my mind. Love like this is truly one of a kind. Hey, feeling like I just won the lotto. You'll drown away all my sorrow. Baby, you're so sweet like Moscato. Knock me off my feet. I just wanna feel it. Gotta let it breathe. I just wanna feel it. Gotta let it breathe. Top shelf lover, he is so divine. Yeah. Ain't no other coming close to my guy. Ooh, a love like ours was written up in the stars. Yeah. 'Cause I'm his Venus and he knows he's my Mars. Yeah. Feeling like I just won the lotto. You'll drown away all my sorrow. Baby, you're so sweet like Moscato. Knock me off my feet. I just wanna feel it. Gotta let it breathe. I just wanna feel it. Gotta let it breathe. Yeah. Feeling like I just won the lotto. You'll drown away all my sorrows. Baby, you're so sweet like Moscato. So sweet. Knock me off my feet. I just wanna feel it. Gotta let it breathe. I just wanna feel it. Gotta let it breathe. Yeah, gotta let it breathe.
Right. Check, check. 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 Right.
Boo. Happy Friday, y'all. Purple it up Friday. It is the 20, I think it's the 22nd or 23rd Friday of 2023, which is wild. I am here running solo. Bree is out today. She's doing well, though, so we're sending hello to Bree. Hello to you, Amy. Hello to you, Scoob. Hello to you, Veronica. Veronica is in the background to join us for Purple it up Friday. I'll wait till her video. Veronica, if you can hear me, I'll wait till your video is up before I pop you on screen. But as soon as that happens, of course, we'll get you up. How y'all doing today? Tell me how you're doing in a comment. Drop a comment, maybe. Let me know what's up in your world. I'm a little out of sorts today. It's a great Friday, but I slept in a little bit. And as soon as I sleep in, get like 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep, I'm all out of my routine. So I'm a little out of routine today, on top of running this thing solo 2 days in a row. But today is a good day. It's Purple It Up Friday. I'm just going to check and see if Veronica's got sound. Veronica, can you hear us? Seems like a no. Veronica?
Yes, I can hear you. I don't know if you got my text message. I can hear you though.
I did not get your text. Let me pull it up. I was all over here. How's it going? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday! Happy Friday! We still got to postpone. There's 401.
You're cutting out a whole bunch.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have you refresh. Okay?
Okay, if you can hear me, okay.
All right. So Veronica's going to refresh, and hopefully that will sort of clear that issue up. But Veronica's from Purple It Up. She talks about domestic violence. She talks about hope. She talks about her story. She talks about other things. We talk business and 501c3 life, which she's trying to work to. She is currently a nonprofit in Florida, but needs to earn some money and put more money towards her legal costs that go into creating a true nonprofit 501c3. But she's like a nonprofit in the same way that a DBA is a business. So if you know what that means, that'll make a little bit of sense. If you don't, it won't, but that's okay. Amy's here. Hey, Scoob, finished your new episode this AM. How was it, Amy? I didn't finish it yet. I'm super bad at finishing episodes. I start them all the time. But yeah, let's throw up Scoob's most recent episode before we forget about it. Please hop over and check out the Undiscovered Entrepreneur. That is Mr. Scoob's podcast. And if you scan this little QR code, of course, it'll take you to where you need to go, take you to his website. He's got a really, really great website, but it's really easy. Take out your phone, you scan the link, done. I think you can take a screenshot and get there as well. So make sure you do that. Listen to Scoob's most recent episode. And let's, before we forget about it, tee up Miss Amy at Amy's Garden Jam. And I'm going to send you to Amy's Garden Jam because you can get to her podcast from the website about jam. So if you want to buy some jam for a friend, do it. But also listen to Grounded in Maine. You can get there by, again, scanning. Just take out your little phone. If you're on the computer, just do a little camera action. Just literally pull up your camera, scan the code. It'll take you to the website. Super cool. You can screenshot it again, and I think do the same thing. So, or you can just Google the Undiscovered Entrepreneur, Amy's Garden Jam. Both of them will get you there to where you need to go. Scoop says, celebrate. Good times come out. Veronica looks like she's back over there, which is cool. I want to, before we go too far today, if you know somebody that hasn't taken the Purple It Up challenge and should, why don't you reach out to them and see if they want to hop on? Or even in the comments, if you know somebody that should be purpling it up, share the YouTube, wherever you're watching us. First of all, thank you. But share the link with someone and ask them to hop in the comments with us and purple it up and say yes to raising awareness for domestic violence. Hello. Caller, can you hear us? Veronica. She can't hear us. Shucks. Well, I'll kick her out, and that'll mean she has to re-log in. In the meantime, I probably have to stay up on my phone. It is also Hope and Celebration Friday, so if you're celebrating something, let us know what that might be. What are you celebrating this week? I'm celebrating that Bree had a couple successful things happen in her life, professionally, personally, all of the different ways. Bree had some good things happen this week, so for that, I am celebrating. Even though she's not here with us today. She's at home, relaxing, recovering, doing her thing, but very proud of all the things she's been up to. Another thing I'm excited about or celebrating from this past week. I made a bunch of new friends. I don't know if I have the time to even name them all, but I could try to tell you about a couple. Who did you all meet this week that was new in your life, and what are you celebrating this week? I meet a lot of people, so that's just kind of what I do. Let's see if anybody jumps off the page in terms of content or new people in my world. There's a Sherry I need to tell you all about. I met her yesterday. She was super cool. And I met a couple people. Yeah. So please, by all means, jump into the comments and let me know what you are celebrating. Yesterday, I met Sherry Saeed. I couldn't remember her last name. And she's a super cool person. She does some investment related kind of work and all that kind of good stuff. But she's a really nice lady. She worked in corporate banking. Sorry, I was reading comments and reading things at the same time, but she's in corporate banking or was, and now kind of does her own thing, helping people get up and going in startups and possibly get some extra advisors and resources in their world. So really excited about what that could lead to in terms of just having more mentorship from someone who is from kind of the big, gnarly corporate financy world that I don't understand. Amy says it was good. Oh, I was hoping for more info about Greg's business, but now I just need to look it up more about him. The podcast is about entrepreneurship, not necessarily the biz. Gotcha. Well, that's a really fun question of the day, as I wonder, maybe for next week, we'll explore in Creator Lab a little bit about business versus entrepreneurship and leadership and creator. Like, there's a lot of terms that get thrown around pretty loosely now, to Amy's point, so it might be kind of fun to explore those a little bit. And the answer to that question is I'm not 100% sure. I think so. And I met Bethany Hawkins this week, Amy says, and it was amazing. I reached out to 3 people about podcast interviews, and 2 have already filled out guest forms. 1 is in France, so I'm excited to learn from them. Yeah, that's awesome. I would love to know, Amy, where you got those references. Like, how did you find those individuals? Let us know how it's working for you, so maybe we can try that too. If anyone needs some podcast work, let me know. I can't even speak. Read the words. Speaks for itself. Podcast work done. So Jesse, you might have to put together a pitch about what kind of podcast work, but certainly if you're trying to put together a podcast webpage or up your webpage game a little bit related to your podcast, or maybe you're kicking it off and want to know how to make it all come together between the website, the social media, and the podcast and the transcripts and a lot of that stuff can be very easy if you know where to go once you set it up. So somebody like Scoop could be really helpful. The company is Next Era Office. What company? What is he talking about? What company is Next Era Office? Oh, Greg's business. I get it. I had to go back in the comments and try to understand. Let's see if Veronica, is your voice working? Can we hear you?
Yes, I am listening. I'm still trying to park. It's crowded. There's an event or something going on where I'm headed to. So I was trying to get away from noise. That's why I had it muted.
We can hear you just fine right now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm stopped at a red light because I pulled away.
Oh my goodness. Well, you just want to give us, why don't you just ring back in when you get there, okay?
Yeah, I sure will.
And I'll leave you, do you want me to leave you in the background or something?
Yeah, because I don't want to lose. It seems like something's going on with streaming, but I got it on my Wi-Fi. So
okay,
if you hear me good, then it's working. It wasn't working. Now it's working. It's clear.
I'll put you in the background, and then when you're ready to come back on, just turn your video on quick so I can see you, and then I'll know that means to let you in, okay?
Okay. All righty.
All right. See you soon. Drive safe. Cool. Real life things. Veronica's always on the move. She's always doing stuff, always helping people out. So I'm not surprised that she's on the road today. So she'll be joining us in a little bit. Her name is Veronica Life, and that is the name she goes by. Is it her legal name? I'm not sure. Not here to say that, but she goes by Veronica Life. Veronica Life is such a cool name. And then her company, her organization is called Purple It Up, and it's Purple It Up for domestic violence with the whole mission and goal. I mean, if we were going to be honest about it, the goal would be to not have any more domestic violence ever. And maybe expand that to say no more violence in general. And then maybe we expand it back to say reduced violence in society would be great, is Veronica's mission. And then when you get all the way down to her day to day, she is helping victims, not victims, but people involved, because there's all these different parties she's taught us that are so critical in the circumstances that lead to and are domestic violence. So there's all these different parties that play a role in it happening, in it continuing, and when it ends. So Veronica finds herself coordinating that effort quite often to be the linkage between all those different things, because there does seem to be some linkage that needs to be made in order for someone to move away from it. So she focuses on that day to day. For me, the more broad picture, the more I learn from Veronica and the more I talk about this on Fridays, the more it becomes an issue of violence in general, with domestic violence being one of the many, many, I guess, symptoms of a society that is too violent already, especially as males. It's not funny. It's just, it's like so much is overwhelming. There's so much violence everywhere. Somebody recently said that we were ignoring the fact that all mass shooters that I can think of and that they could think of offhand were males, and how that's not talked about is very, very weird. And I tend to agree when it comes to violence. So I think it's a good starting point anytime we talk about domestic violence to talk about violence more broadly. So I don't want to get too hung up in all the things that I truly don't understand all that well. Just pose a couple questions and keep this conversation alive for us all, because even though we may not know domestic violence is in our house or in our neighbor's house or in our family member's house, Veronica's given us the statistics, and it's statistically very likely that you know someone who is involved in it. It's almost impossible that you don't. You just may not know who it is. So being able to talk about violence in general, I think is a toe in the water towards then being able to talk about domestic violence with your friends and being able to call them if they need to be called, and like phone, or like, what are you doing? Anything that you can do to advocate for this conversation being alive is a good thing. So start with violence. Violence is nuts. It's everywhere. So Amy says, yes, too much violence, period. Agree. It's very unfortunate and it needs to stop. So that's why we do what we do on Fridays, is to bring awareness to it and not be afraid of it, but walk up to it and say, hello, how can we get rid of you? And we definitely want to make that our goal. So please, please, please consider joining us in the comments and tell us, will you take the Purple It Up challenge, which is very simply not dropping the ball on domestic violence. Keep the conversation going. It may seem simple to you to just say those words once in a while, but it makes a big difference in the conversation. It makes a big difference in the macro about how people may be willing to reach out to you or reach out to somebody in their world to help if they're in that circumstance. So don't be afraid to say it, or be afraid to say it, but still do. Yeah. DJ Scoop says, thank you. Please send it ASAP. My guest. Oh, gotcha. Scoop, I get daily emails with my podcast. Oh, that's cool. I missed that one. Good call, Amy. Thanks for doing that. Maybe we could also, Amy, send that my way too, if you don't mind. I wonder if there's a way we could put that, like embed the posting on the website or something, because that seems like it'd be a really good resource. I never thought to do that, but I could embed some job postings that are related to podcast, and even like Upwork postings, possibly. Never really thought about that. I'll put that on my list of things to do with the website this weekend. But if you wouldn't mind, Amy, send me that resource as well, so we can potentially share it out with the world a little bit more broadly. Not that Scoob needs competition, but there's a lot of people who are looking for a little something on the side. If you know somebody and you're listening to this who might, if you know Scoob at all, definitely reach out to him and just see how you can help. In terms of, he's really, really got a few tiny, I think they're relatively tiny goals that he's got to get across, though. Like, we absolutely need to cross a couple things off the list this weekend for Scoob and myself. And we're going to, and Amy is in on it now too. So we're all going to pull and make sure Scoob can get across that line. DJ Scoob is also known as Jesse Blunt, and he is one of the most active, probably the most active, outside of Amy in the comments over here, active participant in the Creator Lab and the many things we do. Jesse has been with my world, a part of my universe, since a couple of years ago. Feels like it's been 5 years. I don't even remember the exact date that I met him. I don't even remember the exact year. It just has been a great relationship, so I couldn't recommend him more highly to come in and support a lot of things, but at least give a conversation to it to see where he might be able to help what you're doing and what you're building. If you feel like you need help with something in your business and you want to work with a cool guy, Scoob's your guy. If you maybe even could do an ad swap for him, that would help too. Or if you're looking to advertise on a business podcast or an entrepreneurship podcast, dude's got a couple of those. So find any way you can to help out Jesse and Scoob, all the names he goes by. I'll pop his QR code up here for a hot minute again so you can find his. I believe this takes you right to his website. And from his website, you can book a call with him. You can get on the podcast. There's all sorts of different ways you can listen to his old episodes. You can see the people he's talked to. He's definitely talked to a lot of different people, including some pretty prominent names in the podcast community. So I think Jesse, DJ Scoob would be a worthy consideration of whatever you got going on, and at least of a podcast to listen to. And sponsor, support, all those things. All right. I'm going to pull up a couple of websites. So today is all about hope and building hope and having hope and all related things to it, because while we talk about violence and domestic violence, it is obviously pretty critical that we try to counteract some of that with some good. It's not just about harping on the bad, but it's also about highlighting some of the good. So while we shift gears to that, Amy and Scoob and anybody else who might be joining me, again, thank you. Please let me know what good things you have going on. We're celebrating as well, too. I'm going to look up some news. I'm going to look up some people. If you have anything to share from your week of awesomeness, go through all the different crap you've done this week and think to yourself, what do I want to tell people about before this week ends? What resource did I learn about this week that I just want to shout? I just want to tell everybody about. Those things happen. I mean, really, happen to me a lot too. So let's take a little time to do that. And if you know of one, please drop it in the chat. A good resource, a good business, a good episode, a good song, a good something that you listened to this past week, or that's on your list for this weekend. Okay, fair enough. But share some stuff that we can look into, some content, some YouTube, some creators, some tools. I'm going to share a tool that I don't think I shared with y'all yet, but I think you're going to like it a lot. It is called Creativity Tools. Well, it's called mindtools.com. And I'm going to be sending you specifically to their creativity tools, because that's what we do here. It's creativity stuff, creative stuff, you know? So Mind Tools. I just want to snag the name of it so you know what you're getting into when you see the QR. I mean, not the QR, but the URL here. There we go. Mindtools.com. Definitely a site you should be checking out. It has so much resources in it. It's crazy. They've updated the website a lot since the first time I saw it. It's full of blogs and videos and stuff now, but the creativity tools was one that I leaned into when I was in college because I studied creativity. And some of these were not what I had seen in my academia, in my books. So this website in particular, even the free version, they have a paid version like everybody, and also a free version. But the free version was super helpful. There's some great tools in there, at least when I used to use it. Don't take my word for it. Check it out yourself. I need to check it out. It's been a while since I've utilized it, but I have it in my bookmarks. And I think that it's something that could really help a lot of people with their group sessions in particular. Or if you're just trying to problem solve, work through a problem. There's a whole bunch of different kind of brainstorming-esque techniques in here that will help you move through a creative process. It's a really, really good website. And they also have Mind Tools as an organization has many products and services and consulting they offer. It looks like they got memberships. I should probably get a hold of them and see what's going on in their world. Kind of looks like they have they have a nice website. It's fine. But yeah, they have a lot of really great tools. It's a very unique company, so I think you'll like checking it out. Other people, I told you about Sherry Saeed, I think, earlier. But let me see if I can pull up her information and just send you. Actually, she's forming a group, but I don't know if it's ready. I don't know exactly who she wants, but I do know of a couple groups that want everybody. So let me pull up the groups I know that I want everybody, if I can find those. So the first one is Alex. So I'm going to get Alex's information. If y'all have groups that you're in, this would be a great time to share them. Let's just share resources here for the next few minutes, for as long as that takes to get some out. Alex Hit is somebody I've gotten to know. Cool guy, legit person, real human being, does exist. As far as I know, not out trying to scam anyone. Does a lot of creator related stuff. So I see you, Veronica. I'm about to pop you on. This link I just popped in is way too long because it's a LinkedIn thing and they're probably tracking everything from here to the sun, which is unfortunate. But here we are. Creators where creators network and create. It's a lot of creator stuff in that one title. But check it out. Alex Hit's group is hella cool. Super duper nice guy. And then for the next few minutes while I talk to Veronica, and then we'll ease into her Purple It Up link as well. But I want to put Exceptional Entrepreneurs up for a minute here because this one is going on today at about a half an hour. It starts, I think, but it goes on for a while. So check this particular one out. Take a screenshot of it. Take a picture of it. Check out the QR code. If you like to meet other businesses, other entrepreneurs, or just like to meet kind of cool, interesting people, that's definitely a good group to go to. I love Exceptional Entrepreneurs. But let's invite another exceptional human being in here. Veronica, are you frozen?
Hi. I'm here. Oh, wait a minute.
Where are you? I hear you. There you are.
I'm right here.
What's up, dude? Hey.
Well, it's Hope Friday. Purple It Up.
Heck yeah.
I am so excited. Yes, excited. You know, another breakthrough has happened.
Oh.
And you know, I get called to things. And I promise you, I was on it. I was in here, but then I got the call. So I just dropped somebody off all in that time.
You just did that while we were talking?
Let me just. Yes. So I'm in the car, which I was trying not to be. I was already in place and I had to go. It was 2 minutes from me. And I said, what am I going to do? You know, I'm going to do. It's really something awesome when you can just stay in the go-ness. And I know it's a lot. I heard you speaking about us in our mission. And the simplest thing I can tell you, any opportunity that we can get to get in front of people to do our simple challenge, which is Purple Up and don't drop the ball on domestic violence awareness. That's the key thing, the awareness. So we create fun scenarios all the time, especially since COVID is still a thing and it's percolating, it's around. We still have to maneuver strategically and create fun ways, like really talking with Dunkin' Donuts corporate, because our theme is, our code is running on Dunkin's, literally. And we get that coffee and go. And anybody can encourage this. To the point of October, we want them to change that part purple for the month of October or permanently. And because we utilize Dunkin' Donuts a lot. They really have stepped up the management teams at any store.
That's cool.
That we have gone to. And so that just happened because I was going to be live at Dunkin' Donuts and I was within a 2 minute, I was the closest advocate. So I go when I
Thank you.
get that special call, I go.
Thank
but
you.
To let you know, go ahead.
I said, thank you for doing that.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And it gives me great joy to know that I'm on live, Purple Up Live with NumoSpect, Purple Up Hope Fridays. Trevor and Bree took on the challenge, and that's the example, leading by example, following Chris and Katie about any time or do something, arranging a point in your week or in your day to say, hey, I'm gonna Purple Up. I'm gonna put it out there so more and more people hear about it. It's making a wave happen. And that's something that Bree, Trevor, and I talked about, this Purple Up wave that's happened. And it's a tsunami for a good reason. It's gonna do some impact that it's not for me alone to carry. And I appreciate the ones that have took the challenge. And that challenge is simply, I purpled it up for domestic violence awareness. And I'm not going to drop the ball. And you see, that's how Purple Up Hope Friday has happened and is happening, and carrying our Purple Up Live mission to have that conversation. Because domestic violence, there's many layers and stages, and within those stages, they can be the nonverbal, he or she is just loving me, and no, it's very clear what that does. And we're going to have throughout our times with Purple Up Fridays, we'll break it down, but keeping it on the awareness, keep it fun and light. If you have a podcast, if you have a business, look forward to inviting Purple Up at a seat at your table to take on the challenge first, and then go by layer by layer. It might be doing exactly what Bree and Trevor initiated, helping us with our Purple Up Live and have a conversation we're looking to do daily. And I heard Bree and Trevor, their heart about whatever needs to be done, we're figuring it out, but it is a daily thing, because every 29 seconds of the day, there are victims of domestic violence being brought into light, not dark, and it needs a whole lot of support. Because once we get one, as I understand it, I may tell you 2,500 and not shock you, but it's really 5,000. So, what do we do with that? Do we let one pass us by or say we can't help you because we don't have it? It's not about what we have. It's about people taking the challenge and stepping up and doing what they can. If they can do a fundraiser, if they can hold a challenge live in their community, or if they want to be a part of our other do it for a cause, we have different ways. Pie it, color it, paint it, wash it, cook it, bake it for a cause, and multimedia services for a cause. If you have a business, you have a great resource through Purple It Up to get some of your swag, your website, your logo, your brands out there, because you're standing with us. And everybody that's standing with us, we want to have that visibility more prevalent, where more and more people can see how easy it is to Purple It Up and create more awareness for Purple Up for domestic violence awareness. And our Don't Drop the Ball challenge. So if anyone is on the call today that would like to verbally take the challenge, just give Trevor a nod or where he can see it, or a message, or put in the chat saying, I want to Purple It Up for the violence awareness. I'm not going to drop the ball. Even if you chat that or participate in some way, go ahead and put that in the chat. Say, I Purple It Up for domestic violence awareness. I'm not going to drop the ball.
Yeah.
And it's impactful when you look at, you're out in the community and you see somebody wearing purple. I ask people, do you know that that's a powerful impact color that you're wearing, and why? That's another way that we've been doing some engagement, going out in the community, and we're going to have those visible, what would you do moment, or do you know about Purple It Up, and have that feedback coming, so people that are going through domestic violence right now have a little bit more understanding and know that they're not alone. And there is an organization that's connecting all the organizations. And I am so grateful and thankful how things came about, because there is a gap in making all those connections happen for that one. And when that one goes into case management, the compliance, they have to stick it out. And resourcefully, things are strategically planned for that individual to get support, to go forward and get the help. And the most beautiful thing, when reconciliation can happen, when we identify something's wrong, it doesn't mean, things are going to be dealt with 100, but it's also everybody gets help, whether you're an abuser or where you're a victim or a friend, family, business, or someone that don't want to get involved, but you don't want to be visible. We have that all the time. And that's why a big reason why I'm glad that you see me now. Did you see me when? And people just dumbfounded. I wish I would have known. I would have. I said, well, I want you to think of that wish if I would have now, then I want you to think of what you can do now, because there still is a great need in housing initiative. We're looking for 50 homes to identify where it might be a couch, it might be a floor, it might be a Airbnb, it might be whatever. We need to know if there's something available at any given time. There's a need. And so by people stepping up and doing the challenge and saying, hey, we can do this. Or if you're one of those, I don't know what, like, that was my attitude. I don't know. I don't care. I don't have anything that I'm supposed to have anyway. I know how to get help and I know how to keep asking. And it's very impactful when you show that one, you ain't fearing it no more. You're not alone. So right there, that squashes that shame, that fear, because whoever's speaking into your ears or speaking into your life, they should be empowering you, encouraging you. And this Purple It Up Hope Friday, it speaks volumes. It's spot on to what that looks like. It's giving you a visual.
Friday.
Yes.
Speaking of the impact it can have, right? So that's what we're talking about, is the impact just spreading the word can have, because we are not all trained experts like you. Veronica is a trained expert in taking care of people in these scenarios. In addition to having experience, she is really like the full package when it comes, I think, to taking care of someone that you cared about. Like if that was somebody who you cared about who was in that circumstance, Veronica is a person that you would feel excited to know that was going to go be with that person that you care about. So I can't say enough about just like your passion for it. And also why it's so important that other people spread the word, because you do everything you can. Like I see you do everything you can. And I feel like you max out your capacity to spread the word, which is amazing. Like most people can't do that. Most people I get distracted. I get off message. I get off brand. And it's easy to do that. But for you, because it's clearly so much different. It's not like a passing passion that you have for this. It's everything you are, and it's everything you want the world to be, is what you're trying to make this. So Amy is somebody who's connected and resonated with you really out of the gate, which is not surprising because Amy is awesome and you're awesome. And she said, Veronica, can I call you after this live? I need to hook up with you. Can you tell me a good time, if not right after this?
Right. Well, after this is great. I know we're going to probably post out, Trevor, but I would say we usually get done, 4 o'clock is a good time, Amy. 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
4 o'clock. So like an hour after, we'll be done with our post out, and love to get caught up. Thank you so much, Amy. And Amy has blessed us with the ordering. She jumped in and taken on the challenge, which I don't know if we can bring her up to officially have her do the challenge, but she ordered swag, or ordered some merch, shirts for her podcast, and the Podfest shirt and a Purple Up shirt. So that is tremendous, because someone did get gas. We were able to fill a tank to get somebody further away.
That's amazing.
That's how that worked.
That's amazing.
By her ordering shirt.
Can we go back and can I dig into that with you for a second? Can I make that a bigger deal than it needs to be? All right.
Sure. So, I know you will, Trevor.
All right.
But let me clear up something for a second. Life is my maiden. That is my real name, Life. And it's kind of ironic, funny, and I had to laugh because I definitely had to get back to Life 100 and I'm living the survivorship and the overcoming. And there's things that I'm thriving with, and that's why we stay with victims, because I'm living it out. I'm walking and living it and sharing. And there's still things that I know I'm doing for myself that's getting me healthier and stronger and more vocal. And this is the activation every Friday.
Yeah,
it truly is, because I'm walking with. I'm not only been through it, the core of it, but I'm surviving it. I'm surviving and overcoming. And it does take 10 years. And then for some, it's just, things are a lifetime. So we stay with people. That's our new update. We're with people for a lifetime, whatever they need to have that confidence and know that they're not alone, and just not go back into that environment, because after you survive, dating is definitely different. I never thought I would be single and not married yet, but dating, encouraging a dating relationship. And when I get there, I'm not trying to rush anything. I'm not trying to do it because I didn't really try before, but I was open to. So that's interesting, another story about how that works after you survive. And that might be a reality show.
It's true though. It's true. You have such a unique ability to express, I'm sure, just a small fraction of your feelings and your pain and your triumphs. Like, I'm sure we get just a slice of how it really feels inside you on all the things. But your willingness to express those things is what really makes it, I think, a more purple future. Is that too tacky? But definitely a brighter one.
A purple. No, that's a royal. That's a anointed statement you just made. Because I want people to be comfortable, just like it is what happened with COVID, right? We had a lot of, like, everybody's got masks required. I want something to go down like that for Purple Up for domestic violence awareness, where people need to feel empowerment and not scared. And I want people to see me and be encouraged and enlightened that, yeah, that's an ugly situation, but it's uglier if you're going through it alone. It's harder. And on the other side of realizing I'm going through domestic violence, there's so much light. There's things coming, and I pray, and my hope is that people see me and be encouraged to do something different. And don't think because what a person looks like that they're not going through domestic violence, or they are and they'll be okay. Because I had all of those things hitting me, and when I figured out what was it about me, everybody thought I would have got help, and then people didn't want to get involved because of what was going on. And there was people knew, they didn't speak up. They didn't speak up for me, and I don't want anyone to ever feel like no one's going to speak up or go to bat for you.
Right.
And I know what that felt like. That was, besides the financial abuse and then getting attacked and call on my life, imminent danger happened. And I was like, is that what you're trying to do? Oh, no. Okay, you just released me to fight back, to stand up, speak up, because that devil's a liar. And I was able to get a hold of myself, because I thought love does conquer. Love wins. And I won. Don't think I didn't, but I won. And yet, it was a simple act. I love myself better than that. And I can be free. And I'm walking. I'm not looking back. That was my true victorious step that I took. And when the cops identified with me, how I won. There's not a day I think that he's still thinking about me. He's thinking about me more than I'm thinking about him. And I never do. I when I do think about it, I laugh, because you can't. What you tried to steal, you can't get. You didn't win, buddy. You were short again. You were short. And the truth is, you only empowered this. That's all you could do anyway. There's just more that I didn't know. I didn't consider the things I needed. I didn't consider myself in a way that I could believe, and love does conquer, love does win. And whatever someone's going through, you still have a decision to work through it, or blame, or get through it. But your decision should be healthy, to say, I love myself better than that, and I'm gonna find myself in a healthier situation. And if it's not healthy, it's just not healthy, and nothing you can do. Your love, it becomes where if you have it and that person don't, that's, you're enabling something, and that's your self-to thing. And some people think you deserve it. Well, you don't. You deserve better. It's just that love is a beautiful thing, and it does not need to be disrespected. So as I go and as we share on Fridays, just know that This is Purple Up for Domestic Violence Awareness in Action 100. Because see, when it was my ground zero situation, my hot zone situation, I didn't get what I should have gotten. And if I did, there would be so many businesses fully funded. And I know that's the challenge. I know that's the thing I'm supposed to jump over, not hinder me. And I have not let anyone came across our door get looked over or overlooked or feeling shame or feeling all those things. They feel, wow, thank you for cleaning my eyes.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping me. Thank you for helping me live it out and walk it out victoriously. And that's what we're doing. If you take on a challenge, you're standing in the gap, you're standing in the water with me, making that wave even bigger. So it's gonna hit.
Yeah.
It's gonna hit in a way.
It's funny you were talking about that because you always remind me that I had that idea of the wave or whatever, right? So I'm always thinking of ways I can reorganize our stuff to be better for people, to make it easier to access, right? Because access is important, whether it's domestic violence or whether it's video on demand. Like everything is about access. If you don't know it exists and you can't get to it, then it doesn't matter what the hell what the heck it is. Like, it just doesn't matter if you can't get to it, right? It's like if the $1 million bar is in one of those grabbers, like at the you get like a stuffed animal out of the games, but you can never get it out of there. It doesn't matter how pretty it would look on your wall, so you got to give people access to things. And I think the access to someone like you is really, really critical. The access to resources, obviously. Oh, look at Gordon Firemark is here. We have a visitor. Should we let him in?
Yes.
All right. Let me get the screens adjusted. Welcome to the stage,
hello.
podcast lawyer Gordon Firemark.
Hey there.
Hello.
How's it going?
How's it going, Gordon?
Going purple.
Right on. Veronica, I don't know if you remember me, but we met at a PodFest a couple of years ago, and I did your football throw promotion that you were doing, and
yes.
And I wear my Straight Out of PodFest t-shirt I got from you, so that's all good.
Yes, Gordon, I do remember. It's the beard, it's the goatee. I just said, now that's going to be Santa Claus one day for our for our kids.
Ho ho ho.
I'm trying to catch up.
Yeah.
Not as distinguished though. Not as distinguished. It's just very. It's the first time I ever had facial hair in my whole life, ever. Until I was 34 years old before I grew out anything there. And it changes the way people approach you. It really does. People never complimented my face until I had facial hair on it.
But that's a lot of work.
It
takes a lot to keep.
Oh, that's funny. How are you doing, Gordon? It's good to see you. Welcome to Friday.
Doing good. Things are all right. No complaints. Kids are on the last day of school kind of thing, so we're gearing up for summer break, which isn't a break for me at all, but that's the way it goes. And,
you have a lot of podcast festivals coming up, right?
I'm always busy attending conferences and festivals. It's actually sort of quiet between now and August on that front, but there's a few other things. I'm going to go to VidCon next week, which is the YouTube video conference equivalent of a podcast movement or PodFest. And that should be fun. It's down in Anaheim.
Yeah, that should be awesome. Everybody in all the groups I'm in has been talking about VidCon, and I haven't even bothered looking it up yet. Everybody's been... So, Veronica, this might be something for you and I to check out to see how we can get ready at least for next year. VidCon is a big deal. Mm-hmm. Like Gordon said, it's PodFest, but for YouTubers.
I've actually never been myself.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Wow.
There's a lot of hype around this event. I sit in a couple of groups that have pretty prominent YouTubers in them, and VidCon is the equivalent of their family reunion, I think. You know, like they go there to schmooze. And the cool part for a person like Veronica is that they all have a lot of money. Like their industry gets a lot more dollars than podcasting does a lot of times. So
Yeah.
the YouTube industry is not all filthy rich, but there might be more. It might be a good mix to have in your clientele, I guess.
Yeah, the
because
brands
not
are
only
throwing
are they
around money. The creators are earning money in different ways, and certainly it seems like the big ones anyway do really, really well. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's easier to get a million followers on YouTube than it is a million downloads on a podcast every month. So, or every week. So, you know, it is what it is. Different media, different rules, different game entirely. But I'm excited. My son's going to go with me. And yes, Scoob, I'm going to be going to PodFest in Florida, barring the unforeseen, of course. I'm waiting to hear. I've made my submissions for topics and that kind of thing. And we'll find out. We'll find out. Also looking forward to being in Denver for Podcast Movement in August, where we will be bringing in the opener of season 2 for Fuzzy Logic. Isn't that right? Uh-oh, you're muted.
That's all right. Nobody needs it. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm getting the links pulled up right too. I appreciate you bringing these up because as fast as you can mention them, I'm trying to get so we can invite our friends to these things too. Because when we have more people that go from our own group as a group, I think gives us a chance to represent each other.
Absolutely.
You know, it's power in numbers, and it's a lot of what you know at these types of events. And Veronica, you're going to be in such good position as you continue to dip into the indie media and podcast world because you've made such good friends with Chris and with Gordon and with us, and it feels like a good time to be launching an initiative like this. Where so many more people, it seems like, are familiar with it. Gordon, any thoughts on how Fuzzy Logic, this is not a pre-planned question, but how can we contribute to this type of conversation around domestic violence from like a digital standpoint and a podcaster standpoint?
Well, I mean, that's interesting. I think the conversation is the contribution in a large sense. Being out there talking about it, raising awareness, raising the alarm, I think is an appropriate way of articulating it right now. That, you know, it's an epidemic in our society, and I think if we can get out there and talk about it, maybe we should do an episode where we bring Veronica on and maybe feature some, actually maybe featuring some creators in the space that are victims, survivors, or who are talking about it, and just do sort of a highlight episode of some sort where we're talking about the folks that are, you know, talking about the issue, and see if we can help them expand their reach.
Right. And that's what we want to do. You got it, Gordon. You already took the challenge. And that's so impactful because this is the next activation. What can we do in our day or week to encourage the community, the people that are listening, watching, and let them know? Invite. We would love to be invited on anyone's podcast, on your podcast, to do just that. And all these events coming up, we would love to be in a space and get that supported and worked out. Because this is the wave. This is another wave. Like Gordon said, he took the challenge. Bree and Trevor virtually took the challenge. And this is the next thing to do. Put that action in the space where you are to purple it up.
You know, I think it might be interesting to just as an idea for you, Veronica, some things that you might try to implement is, you know how with fundraising, and obviously fundraising is important for any nonprofit organization, but you've seen a lot of the metaphorical thermometer or the gas gauge that you're filling up as you're doing the fundraising. It might be interesting to set a goal of a certain number of podcast appearances or a certain number of mentions or something like that, and then again asking the audience to engage and spread the word and get more of those appearances and things like that, and just sort of being able to keep a running tally of, hey, we set out a goal of doing 100 of these in 2023. We're at 27 now. Let's go to 28. Who's going to bring us 28? And just encourage the existing audience to help expand that might be a good way to go. And also, as you said, Bree and Trevor and I have taken the challenge. That's been a pretty much not a one and done, but you know what I mean? It's once it's done, it's sort of, you forget about it unless you get the reminders and are invited to take further action or further steps and things. One thing that I think a lot of folks might do, just as an indication of support, would be to put the Purple It Up badge of some sort on our websites or on our show art or something like that. Maybe there is a Domestic Violence Awareness Month, is there not?
October.
Okay.
October.
So maybe that's the kind of thing where, leading up to October, really do a big promotion to get all the podcasters out there to change their cover art for their episodes in October to a purple background or something like that, and to include a little information about the Purple It Up movement and that kind of thing. I think that's a way to rally the troops, I guess you could say. And if it's a coordinated effort, I think you could really accomplish a lot. You like it?
Yes, I love it.
All right.
You're acing it. That's the next phase of your challenge that you committed, and we're gonna do that in honor of Gordon. We're gonna hold on, this one out. Yeah, we're gonna state that petition. So Gordon seconded it.
Well, great. And look, let us know how we can help. Certainly, as we are doing our episodes of Fuzzy Logic and other things in September, October, we can certainly be promoting that and helping to get the message out there. Yes, Trevor. And we'll do more of that. So what else is going on? What is the movement? What are you working on right now, Veronica?
Well, we're not for profit. We're voluntarily doing this. We're moving into getting things organized. So we had the 501c3. So we're in a push for fundraising, literally getting the 501c3 done.
Waiting for the IRS to do their thing, or is
right? So we can have taxes. Well, 501c3, you're tax exempt, and a lot of people do want to support when it's tax deductible. But that would open the doors for us to qualify for fully funded status and certified status as a agency shelter. Because we're pushed to get housing, not only be the compliance in the community, the network of agencies around the world now because of PodFest. We're globally making that awareness and that resource happen. And the more we're getting out there, as you said, the more it's going to help us get to this wave that needs to be pushed and supported. As you know, or if you didn't know, we're voluntarily doing everything. We're asking and knocking and seeking and relying on the agency to help us carry the case management and to get everybody transferred. So we're pulling up all the resources wherever we have to go in that city, in that state. If it's in Brazil or if it's, well, internationally, we're pulling on international resources because it's not like we have, we want to have global, we want to be in every city and every state. That's the end goal. That wave to be across the, not only just East Coast, West Coast.
Sure.
We're already doing some of those things, but around the globe to, have everybody come and huddle up and purple up and go for that one that needs to be handled, because we have human trafficking. It's a sexual part, and part of the domestic violence. And we hear the story, hear these things in the media, but we really want to have the awareness get to prevention so we can better have have a resolution for the problem in the crisis and things supported. And for Purple Up to be fun. Since we're holding a lot of accountability in the compliance area and resource management,
Yeah.
referring people to the right place. We want to be able to press the fire to seeing those dollars. There's a disconnect if you're not a certain demographic. They have to limit funding. Purple Up, we don't want to limit funding. We have no funding. We're going to ask for funding and put that funding where it needs to be. And so it's requiring us to be fully supported and not doing it from voluntarily. I think anytime you're in an environment, you're going to always volunteer. But to do it from where there's no budget, there's no support, and whatever support comes through is helping literally somebody get gas, food, a place to stay for the night or weeks, or because shelters get inundated, there's no room and people go back into their situation. And that's a knowing I'd rather take the abuse than to be homeless. That's a real factor because homelessness does come up. So having the resource, our resource and what we do fully funded. And we've been bypassed to get somebody help. We pass it on or advocate with that agency that has support to fund or provide for a victim some of the details. When it gets to that point, it goes to the agency. It doesn't come to Purple Up, whatever, fund. It's not about our funds. It's just resource clients.
Sure.
And having the victim stay the course and know that they're not alone. And most of the time, we're the people that is doing that part to keep them compliant. We connect them with the shelter. They have to stay with case management. They have to stay in outreach, and we're there cheerleading them, cheering them on, and you can get through every step. Because it is a lot you have to do when you decide to make that I'm gonna walk out or I'm gonna leave and not live back.
Right.
There's a distinction of that, and that's a vulnerability. So we help people walk through on how to do that safely and with dignity and encouragement. And we kind of become the ones that also on the other side helping that agency stay compliant because they have the 513, they have the certification.
Yeah.
And so by having a successful client at that point, a victim becomes a client of that agency and they're advocating for them. We're there to encourage on the other both sides to be a win-win. And that's a lot of time, volunteering that's required. And we'll do it over and over again because when it was me, that's the thing I didn't have. People thought somebody would be speaking for me, but I was speaking for myself, and I knew that I would have that support. I didn't have that support. I had shelter. Somebody made a call and made sure I stayed in a shelter wherever I had to go. After relocating 30 times, do you think I really had to relocate 30 times to get help? Got to Tampa. And the state attorney, Mark Omer, said, don't leave my county. Did I leave? Nope. And I never looked back, only to help the next one up. And that's how that's been working and voluntarily doing so. It's just time for that to be a shift. And I know that there's more to do. Like you said, going to all these events, creating awareness in that space on anybody's podcast. I haven't been on the news yet, so I know that is something that hasn't been done either. But we have helped over 250 families, and we have the stories. We have, people that can say, you know who I was? You're the one that helped me. I had this, and I got help, but what made me stay is because of what you said, and I knew you were there, holding my hand anytime I needed it. And that's what's needed in this situation. Because when it was me, I know what it's like. I didn't. And it took all that I am and what I represent and how God blessed me with seeing not a deer in a headlight like I started and realizing what it is. And realizing I had the victory. I had my life. And fortunately, my last name is Life. And I just told the judge, I want to claim my last name. And she goes, I'm going to declare you as single because this was so blank, blank, blank.
Wow.
You deserve your fresh start. You deserve you to have victory knowing that you won. You were able to walk away. walk away. That was my victory.
Yeah.
Walk
Yeah.
away.
Are you tied in and connected with other organizations that provide support for people in these circumstances? And do you have like a resource list or guides on how to find support? Those kinds of
Yes. Yes, we do. We're the network that's developing that, set that up, and that's what we rely on, the certified shelters. There's some fully certified and funded shelters, but we have up to 36 shelters and relocations, and that number is more than that, but 36 that we commonly work with all the time.
That's great.
To right here from the Tampa Bay area. We have some awesome, powerful, certified shelters here in Tampa Bay area that definitely made a difference. And at my last leg of my survivor, one of them is the first call that I go to because I walk through those as well.
Nice.
So there is a resource because we did a resource management, the referral resource management. Wherever victims at, we pair them up with the team of advocates, and that's their case management along with that. And it's a win-win of seeing that history happen and coming to terms on what needs to be done. So it's, city by city, in every city, community, or, neighboring, there's a certified shelter. There's a connection. And so where Purple Up is that banner of love that's making that impact for compliance and networking happen.
That's great.
The culture.
That's great. Yeah. Another thing that if the podcast community and the YouTube, the live streaming community, what we can do, of course, is have guests on our shows, or it doesn't always have to be you, Veronica, but if there's other folks that you think are good at speaking out about the subject and what the right calls to action are, and frankly, there's lots of folks who've written books or have other stories to tell that might inspire and encourage more help. So if you've got ideas about who would make great guests on various kinds of shows, that would probably be great to get out to us, and we can help spread the word about that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Purple Up Live. Yeah, Purple Up Live moment. Yeah, Purple Up Live moments are, and what we're doing is just if somebody wants a speaker, we're definitely vetted to have that person, the expert, come and share.
That's great.
And that's what's rolling out in this quarter. That's been very profound, having more conversations.
Wonderful.
And in that.
Well, just as an example for me, my show is focused around, one of my shows is focused mainly around entertainment law. And so if there are folks in the Hollywood community or the legal community or both, that would be good to talk about, to do 5 or 10 minute conversation to raise awareness and get people to take some kind of action. Be delighted to have them on my show. So if you can point me in the right direction, that'd be a help.
Okay. Okay. Love to.
I'm blurry. I'm out of focus, which is how I feel today. What's going on with my?
You need some more coffee. That's amazing. Thanks so much for throwing down, Gordon, and jumping right in and getting involved in different solutions. It's a good time. It's a good time though, because there was just I want to bring it up before we wrap, because it's in line with this in some ways, that there was did y'all see that there was a shooting of a person who, like a lady shot another human through a door because she was scared of who was outside, and they didn't convict the person. They didn't even question the person for several weeks.
Yeah, it was over some altercation with the kids, and then the mom went to the door. And
I have the backstory on that guy. That's right here in our neighboring county, Marion County. What happened? The kids, kids in the community playing and whatnot. But this lady that shot their mom, they had since 2021 have been going through this ordeal. Bad, good neighbor, bad neighbor, or conflict with neighbors. Well, she threw their skates at her children and hit them, called them slurs, called them names, and So the cops had been called. They had eyes on the situation. But what happened this time, the lady had iPad, their tablet, and she didn't give it back to them. So the mom went over there, seeing what was going on. Miss, I think her name is actually Susan. That's what the grandma had called her name out on TV, so I can say it. And she went over there just to knock on the door, say, let's talk. They had been talking.
Yeah.
I'm sure those conversations were not nice and easy at times, but they were always conversations. Had a conversation, whether agreed to disagree or not. But she felt confident enough to go knock on the door to get the kid's tablet and look for anything. And she's calling her name, if such and such, I'm sure, at the door, knock on the door, and bam, shot through the door and killed the mom right in front of her children, her 9-year-old child. And that's another view of that's domestic violence, that's gun violence. And it wasn't like that she had a cause or stand her ground. It wasn't about that. She knew who the lady was, had a rapport, good or bad, but shot through the door. And so what I understand is she did get arrested. She did get arrested. Okay. She wasn't at first, but after the investigation started and the county, the police force, have to check.
Well, let's be really honest. It's after it made the news. It's after it made the news is when the sheriff did his thing.
Yeah. So they arrested her and looking to see what the results of the outcome. But the last I heard, the last one I got, they knew where she lived, they knew who she was, and they did their due diligence, and she did get arrested.
Well, sadly, these kind of stories come up way, way too often. And if it isn't, in this case, it was neighbor on neighbor, but it's as often as not, it happens behind the closed doors of a family relationship or parents against children, or who knows what. And unfortunately, next week there will be another story, and we'll forget about this one. And that's what really we need to focus on is we can't forget. We can't just let it go. And it's. I think it's actually a larger issue than just domestic violence or just gun violence. But, we've got the mass shootings, we've got the school situations, all of it. Violence across the board has become somehow acceptable to a segment of the community that as a solution to their disagreements and problems. And that's shameful.
Well, see, this is the neat thing you're saying, Gordon. Awareness. What awareness would do. It's community awareness against violence. All of it. When we say domestic violence, and that's what we want to get the message out in louder, more voice, and having this conversation, because somewhere in that person's mind, reason why we go domestic, these are, domestic in a domestic level. And that's why it's related back to domestic violence. Might be gun violence, might be sexual violence. All of it is violence, and it's happening within your community. So the more awareness to get to what you do if you have a nice neighbor, not so nice neighbor. What do you do when you have an ugly situation or not so ugly or iffy situation? All of it, the core of it is the psyche on how to deal with that issue of disrespect, that issue of insult, that instance of assault or victimization. How do you deal with those? Are the conversations about what the real safe, what domestic violence is looking like and what it is before it gets to a crisis. What in the mind, the cops are already called on this situation, and that takes the training. Put it there. What happens and have those scenarios act out before it is the actual scenario. The awareness factor does that. When we're out in the community, we have done several things in dealing with couples or people in relationships. Let's role play to kind of see what your take was actually really on that. And that's been so helpful and life-saving. So whatever's going on can stop and get the help. Stop the get the help. Let's get to solution and give hope to that. And that's what, when we talk about domestic violence awareness and what Purple Up is doing about that, that's what's been working for us to get that one. And in those relationships, built and problem solved and understanding that goes on, we're the ones why we get called to walk into certain situations, because we know how they're thinking, we know what they're being pressed with, or the fear is if somebody's reporting somebody. We want people to be comfortable with being part of the solution, not comfortable with the problem.
Yeah.
That's,
it's wild. And the solution is, I appreciate y'all entertaining that conversation for a moment. I wanted to make sure to bring it up for the reasons we all talked about. I became aware of it on LinkedIn. I don't watch a ton of news, so it's not that surprising, but I think, like we all have acknowledged today over and over again, but up digs, that the awareness is really the most critical part to start. It can't, just like fuzzy logic. We always say we want people to continue the conversations after the show. And it's the same thing when it comes to violence and gun violence and violence against people of different races, because we are scared of them, and just saying shit that's hard out loud, because this stuff has been going on for way too long. I wanted to see what year Trayvon Martin was, because I felt like it was a long time ago, and it was 2012, and it was the same bullshit excuse then against a 28-year-old kid, and this time it was a 35-year-old mother of 4.
11 years, nothing much has changed. It's shameful.
It's just like there's only one answer, and it's not an emoji, it's not a word. It's just, there's got to be more talk about it, and there's got to be more action. So I really appreciate you all entertaining that with me today, so we can make sure that these things are not forgotten, because they are really,
so Veronica,
they are our neighbors.
One more thing I want to ask. In addition, of course, to donating, and the QR code is on the screen, so anybody who is so inclined can do that. One other thing. What one other thing could folks do to help right now with this issue?
Well, like you said, donating, supporting, but stepping up and let us know you want to take the challenge. And if you took the challenge, what do you want to do more? We have people that are on our coming to be on the task force. We have people that say, "Hey, I got a house," or let us know of a resource that you could stand with us on and direct us to getting supported. And knowing that when you take the challenge, I know and personally know your voice. You help us voice the victory. And take the challenge, and then activation, find something what you can do in your community where you are, or in your business or podcast. Let us know that you're, first of all, here, and take the challenge. That is the key thing. And then we can have a deep dive conversation. And Gordon, you said several things I'm glad to hear. And you echoed back on that, to take on the challenge and go that other layer of action. Do action. That's the other thing. Be action. Be the voice. Direct people to let people know that there's an organization to purple it up for them.
Even if it's as simple as just looking up a couple of the shelters in your community and going down there and volunteering, or giving them some money, or even just sort of making people in need aware that they're there. That's a kind of action. Obviously, writing to the government officials that have the power to expand services, or do more outreach, or all those kinds of things. There's another action that each of us can take, and if we speak loudly enough with a single voice, we can really accomplish a lot.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you both so much for joining today. I want to wrap things up. We are over time a bit. Gordon, thank you so much for stopping by and bringing such depth and breadth to the conversation, as you always do. Veronica, I cannot thank you enough times for doing what you do, even when you're not with us, but certainly for sharing and educating and empowering us to go help other people. That is what you do for me every week, and I could not thank you any more times, but I will again and again and again. Thank you so much, because without you, lots of people continue to be lost. This afternoon is happy hours per normal. I will be heading that up, so good luck with me. Bree is out today. please send her all your hugs and positive thoughts towards Bree and to all the people who are going through stuff. Because gosh, there's a lot of people going through pain and tough situations at all times in this world. So please send lots of love out and have a great weekend. Thank you so much, everyone. Veronica, I will send you with the last gratitude message if you want to throw anything out.
I want to thank everyone that's taken on the I Purple Up for domestic awareness and not drop the ball. The Purple Up Don't Drop the Ball challenge. I thank you, Gordon, for showing up today. And Bree and Trevor, what you're doing to empower this light and this wave. I'm getting behind Chris and Katie on that. With Podfest, it's happening. It became a global movement. And I'm glad y'all know the heart of it and getting to me and let me know that you're cheering me on. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. And y'all have a blessed week and stay in touch. And wherever you go, purple it up.
Purple it up. On behalf of NumoSpect, Bree, Gordon, and everybody, be good to yourself and be good to other people. See ya.
Bye.